Well, it appears that more people may join Nicki Minaj in asserting that Beyoncé and her beloved husband, Jay-Z, have been ruining careers for decades. And I'm referring to Maya Child and Blue Cantrell. It appears that the Carters' apprehension has subsided, and things are starting to become rather messy, so I hope you are seated.
Of course, you've been accused of similar things.
Well, that's what you sign up for when you enter the entertainment business.
Absolutely, but it must be hard dealing with all the beehive coming at you.
I don't have anybody coming at me, but I know what I'm not guilty of.
Alright, let's begin with Blue. Blue Cantrell was a successful singer with a remarkable voice when Shend record labels were vying for her signature. However, despite several hits in 2004, Arista Records inexplicably neglected to extend her contract. For example, how can you overlook extending the contract of one of your best vocalists? Blue discovered that she had not earned nearly as much money at the label as she should have at this point, when they conveniently forgot to extend the contract. Additionally, Blue stated in an interview on You Know I Got Soul that she wished she had a mentor to help her navigate the process. One of the last times we heard about Blue was in 2012, when it was reported that Blue Cantrell was transported to a hospital in Santa Monica for a psychological examination after police arrived on the scene after a bystander had seen her yelling in the street. She seemed to be yelling that someone was feeding her deadly gas. Additionally, the incident lasted long enough for someone to call the police. According to rumors, she had a falling out with Beyoncé because Jay-Z apparently desired her, which is why she vanished. There were speculations that Jay-Z and Blue were romantically involved. However, Blue claimed that there was no relationship between her and Jay when questioned about it a few times. She did, however, confess to Wendy Williams that she was deeply attracted to him.
I think so. I think they're in love. I think they're in love.
Politics speaking?
No, I really do think they're in love. I have a big crush on him though. I'll tell you that much.
Did you
Still have a crush on him? No. No, I didn't. No, I'm really selective about it.
What?
Really. I really like him though. And I don't care who he's dating. I always had a crush on him though.
If he came in right now and we were all not here.
What?
I'm just saying, you're in New York.
Yeah, okay. And what?
If you ran into him and everything was right, would you make that play?
I wouldn't turn it down. Let's just put it that way. But you can't just go around just, sleeping with guys.
In addition, both Blue and Beyoncé's solo careers were expanding concurrently. There was, of course, some rivalry between the two. And people have long claimed that, in the Carters' case, Beyoncé had to ruin anyone who competed with her when she first began her solo career in order for her to take center stage. Even though Blue Cantrell witnessed the Carters' attempts to undermine her, she unfortunately didn't have much of a chance with them. Blue also once commented on how the music video for her first released single, Roundup, resembled the ad for Beyoncé and Jay-Z's Bonnie and Clyde. Additionally, Blue collaborated with Sean Paul on a song that became an enormous smash. Beyoncé then performed Baby Boy with him shortly after that. However, her career was essentially doomed overall. According to reports, things are going to change now that Nicki has been clean about the Carters, and Blue Cantrell is purportedly already preparing to come clean. It's going to be crazy, according to sources. Maya is another individual who was purportedly sabotaged. Alright. In the past, Maya was also among the most prosperous painters. Additionally, she published her first album, Mia, with Interscope Records in 1998. Her subsequent studio albums were Mood Ring and Fear of Flying. Throughout her career, Mia sold over 3.2 million albums in the US alone, won multiple accolades, including a Grammy nomination, and had hits that topped the charts. However, similar to Blue, there were speculations in the past that Maya and Jay-Z were romantically involved after working together on the remix of her popular song, Best of Me. She was really blackballed in the industry in 2014 due to reports that Jay had supported her financially and dated her even after he was married to Beyoncé. I am unable to verify if there was ever any interaction between Maya and Jay-Z. However, I am aware that her reputation was still harmed by her contacts with Jay-Z. Before we knew it, Maya was the target of a variety of offensive rumors claiming she was homeless. Additionally, 50 Cent once asserted that he had done something with her. Unfortunately for Maya, her label also let her down badly, just like Blue did, so she had to cope with more than just these lies that were damaging her name. Additionally, because of their power over record labels, there have been rumors that the Carters were involved. In essence, they realized that her career had ended. However, if rumors are to be believed, this is just another someone preparing to reveal the Carters' wrongdoing. And now for Nicki Minaj. This most recent dispute with Nicki began when someone published an interview conducted by Roc Nation CEO Desiree Perez's estranged daughter, Demery Hadley. Dem, who is suing her mother for sending her to a mental hospital, stated in the interview that Roc Nation essentially silenced Nicki Minaj and restricted her right to free expression. She added that Nicki's family was targeted by Roc Nation. The American people should be extremely alarmed by the fact that they have assaulted both her spouse and her child.
Drama and some of with Roc Nation, with Desiree Perez, with other individuals. What I can say about that is I've witnessed and heard a lot of things. Again, it's hearsay, right? So it doesn't even matter. That's why I'm not even going to go into detail with that. If I have the opportunity to speak with Nicki, would love to connect with her on that. But I've kind of seen, just like you firsthand, how they've they've abused of her platform, they abused her talents, they've abused of her freedom of speech, they've attacked her family, they've attacked her husband, they've attacked her child, and it's sad. It's really sad. Somebody so resourceful, talented, high profile as Nicki Minaj being targeted. It should really scare the American people. It should really scare you guys too, right? Because I'm the daughter, so it's like at this point it's happening to me. I think she's really outspoken, and I'm grateful that she's being outspoken on it, because I think she's almost saying it like, well, it happened to me, it's happening to her, let me speak up on it. Nobody is safe right now. And she's fed up. I think she's fed up because she's been through a lot.
You guys dubbed Nicki a liar, but hasn't she been talking about what happened to her? You can bet that she reaffirmed her accusations, claiming that those who accused her of lying need to feel guilty. During her tirade, Nicki hinted that Jay-Z and his associates have been actively undermining her, claiming that this is the true reason she doesn't put out music. Additionally, she said that an unidentified somebody had been attempting to harm her marriage to Kevin Petty, and that attempts to turn Penny against her had involved deception and high-ranking friends. Furthermore, Nicki claimed to have records and that her followers and her own social media accounts were being shadow banned in an obvious attempt to damage her reputation. One of them demonstrated how the function that allowed her to show others what she liked had been destroyed. Additionally, she reposted several messages from admirers who were complaining about inexplicable technical issues they were having on the sites she utilizes. However, as everyone is aware, Nicki has already claimed that the Carters are undermining her. She has stated the same thing numerous times since 2023, by which I mean. To begin with, Jay-Z was also misled when Nicki criticized Elliott Wilson for treating her disrespectfully. In order to promote her new album, Nicki and Kaysen were on a live stream in December 2023. Elliott has already spoken out against the exclusion of well-known performers from important interviews in favor of up-and-coming viral acts. Additionally, he tweeted a video of Nicki Minaj twerking with the satirical remark, "hip-hop journalism." Nicki then retaliated with Elliott, saying, "You might be pleased for the newcomers if you would spit Jay-Z out for a moment. Isn't that how you all attempted to damage my reputation by claiming that I don't accept newcomers? But did you sing songs with them all? Why aren't you pleased with Kai, a young black man?" Elliott is one of the mouthpieces being utilized to undermine Nicki, if you ask her. Then, at some point last year, Nicki was on a roll where she exposed Jay-Z and Tidal for defrauding her and attempting to use $1 million to quiet her. One was correcting the record over her involvement in Jay-Z's sale of Tidal to a music streaming service, asserting that both he and Steve Stout are disseminating false information. There was some back and forth, but Nicki claimed that Beyoncé and Jay-Z were directing criticism at her to silence her about them and Diddy. They got to keep the conversation on me so that no one talks about these charges against their BFF. She posted on X, to be exact. The 30-year-old T here certainly doesn't appear to be using stale patterns. However, Sass, Stout, Ugly Alien, and others are all discussing Onikika. For what reason are they discussing Onika? In another tweet, Nicki also asked if Jay-Z and Steve Stout were aware of everything going on in Hollywood and if they took part, writing, "Dear Short and Stout Dick, Laffy Taffy Alien, we would like to know if you were present during bleep of teenagers and children," Dick Breath says. "We are interested in knowing that. Give up. Foxy, Aaliyah, etc. Did you know about Kim Porter and Cassie during the R. Kelly video sessions and other events? It seems like you guys are always in a rat pack. We, the people, therefore want you. And your people to talk about that. Ugly baldhead bowling ball be damned, you ninjas only have this much energy for online beers and not for real-life criminals." In yet another tweet, she mentioned that her husband was concerned about the tea of a 15-year-old child who had been railroaded, but she made no mention of the tea and baby oil that had been used for decades, even as recently as a few months ago. What about the 30-year-olds who watched and remained silent, etc.? If 15-year-olds must be held responsible and told they would never be able to move past their history, yes, exactly. Onikika, not the baby oil. Whoever it is, when Nicki launched. On her tirade at Megan Thee Stallion, she made it quite evident that she was certain Roc Nation was responsible for her sabotage. Nicki asserted in one of the tweets that Roc Nation was spending a lot of money on writing to help him surpass Bigfoot. She's the small, broke, independent artist who spends a lot of money. You have to let it go, darling, Desiree. She can't rap, as everyone knows. Give up attempting to force fetch to occur. I recently released a song without any kind of video or promotion. Number 2 is already here. Her claim that the Carters have been undermining her is therefore not new. The only difference is that there are now others who can provide receipts and confirm her account. Now that more musicians like Bluister and Maya are reportedly joining the conversation, it's even more interesting. Who knows, perhaps more people will follow the trend in the coming days. Mia, Brianna, Carrie Hilson, Marie, and Tiara Marie. Who else am I missing? There are undoubtedly many more people who have reportedly been sabotaged. And the Carters. Time will come to an end if all of these people begin sharing their tales. I'm not sure if they'll. However, in the meantime, please share your thoughts in the comments area below regarding Okika's reaffirmation of her assertions and Blue and Maya's responses to the chat.